Hey, everybody. This is another chapter in my book, The Powerful You. This is called Power in Every Version of You. You conquer your inner world when you conquer your doubts. Doubts make a person feel safe to use their justifications against themselves. And although we all have reasons and stories that help explain our situation to someone who hasn't experienced it for themselves, we want to be careful that we understand our reasons, yet not allow those reasons to completely block us from achieving what it is that we say we want. In short, know your story, but know when it's time for the next chapter, and be willing to turn the page. When we feel certainty for what I messed up. When you feel certainty for what you desire, your confidence creates a magnetic force field attracting anyone and anything that can help bring that desire to life. Let others cower to your certainty about what you can become and who you are. When someone doubts you, don't react to them, or at least try not to. Live in the victory that comes with loving who you are. Beat the madness and tackle the chaos that aims to stir your mind off track. Let go of the you've got to fake it till you make it, because you have to be real. You have to be honest. Be nothing more than who you are, and be that bigger than ever. Honesty will set you free. It will heal you and allow you to move higher. Honesty brings you to your value and shines a light on it for others. By the same token, your worth is not defined by them either, nor by the experiences and mistakes that you make along the way. Your worth is defined by you. Your innate worth is because you simply are you. It is defined equally by honesty. So set your own example. And remember that good things come and go so that things better suited for you can begin. Things that align more magically, more accurately, and more authentically with your true desires and needs. As you clear up space for these things and open yourself up to truth, all that is better can fit more perfectly into your life. Through honesty, we can finally begin to feel freedom and express it in all that we are. We are truly invincible then. When we don't bow to the rules and theories of how others live, speak, and act, sometimes that's not always a sign of disrespect. It can also be the marker of an autonomous individual expressing their innate freedom, someone who's in touch with their authentic self. Freedom of others' perceptions and others' moral stances, freedom of other people's expectations. This is what can happen. Personally, I'm trying to lead my life according to how I envision it. I find that if this intimidates you, worry less about someone's why that won't be what you want, and focus instead on yourself and doing what's important to you. I am learning and trying not to be afraid of who I was, who I am, and who I'm becoming. Although not much like I used to. And that ability to face myself is a root of strength that guides me in everything I need to navigate through in my life. This is an ability that you as well can master with practice. There is a wealth of power in every version of you. So harness that with courage. When I think of all of my versions, I am trying to embrace them, because that is where my true nature is revealed, my desires get explored, and my thoughts and actions can be unfiltered, and equally my strength and spirit strengthened. The critical judgments of others, they matter not to a free mind. We are unconquerable creatures who answer to ourselves and follow our own rules. In freedom, we create rather than submit to. Wait for no one, because you are a creature of freedom. You grow by learning to connect and branch every part of yourself to the entire universe in your own network of love, body, and spirit. These versions of you can tell you so much about yourself, and it can make you wiser about this world. I know that I'm still learning. I'm still figuring things out and always exploring and adjusting, but I'm strong with my certainty about my character, and this is what makes me free. You also cannot contain or control me, just like others cannot contain or control you. And you will never have power over me, just like others will never have power over you. I wasn't born unto you, just like you weren't born unto me. I was born as a tool of the universe to shape it. So know your purpose, know what it is, and move towards it. We all have one. So discover yours and be strong in the certainty of your character while still flexible to allow yourself room for adaptability and learning. Sometimes in our pursuit of purpose, the fires that light up our hearts can go out. So learn to relight your fire at all costs, and don't let someone control your emotions. They are yours. Head towards transformation, healing, contribution, and transcendence. Elevate the ground that you're on to something higher. And know that those who betray you do not earn nor deserve your time. Pay close attention to the things and people that do put out your fire. People will tell you who they are by the things that they say and do. Observe this, listen to this, and don't expect them to be anything different than who they show to be and what they tell you they are currently, and then act accordingly. There is a power within all of us. We are everything all at the same time. Like our own little God, we create and we destroy ourselves through all the things that we do, say, and think, and in reaction to all the things others say, do, and think. Be conscious of this and wise about your ways, because your thoughts create actions and your actions create consequences, and each consequence has a ripple effect in your world and the realities of others. So embody the magnificence of your beauty, spirit, and potential while being mindful of adding to the lives of others rather than subtracting from it. Learn to think new, to speak new, to act new, always in the capsule of being you. Don't worry about the tide that pulls you backwards. Think of it more as a test of how much your strength has developed, how much you are capable of. Each time a new tide tries to pull you back from your progress, implement all that you've been learning and flex those mental muscles of your advanced power of mind and spirit. If you should fall, remember that the fall is but an opportunity to understand what areas of yourself needed more attention. Learn what rungs on your ladder towards your envisioned utopia are missing, and discover how to help yourself upwards and help others as well. Through this self-analysis, you will be able to put effort into improvement and be able to stand back up the next time you are challenged by an aggressive circumstance. In time and with patience, you will have developed such strength of character that you won't even be able to be knocked down or pulled back, at least not without your permission. You will become the object with which things must move around because you are too powerful and too strong to waver and move. I know that for myself, I'd rather break into a million pieces than be constrained to a hole that does not fit. I desire to be the seeds that spring a revolution. Bury and water yourself in the soil of the universe until you can rise out of it the most extraordinary version of yourself. The world needs you. All these limits are like the air. Even though we can't always see them, we can feel them, but we can still pass right through them. Be powerful and walk through. Live by a philosophy of transformation through destruction. By murdering the parts of you that were destroying you, you become free to ignite a fire that rids you of those parts and grows something better in their place. This power of rebirth I want to share with all of you. This is the nature of the phoenix. Breathe metaphorical fire into yourself and remember that the world is yours to conquer if the universe trusts that you will deliver. And when I say conquer, I do not mean selfish, entitled taking or tyranny. I mean that this world has a space carved out for every single one of you. Contribute the part of yourself to it with the conscious motive to help others in healthy, loving, and positive ways. An individual who still acknowledges their tribe, supporting humanity in the ways that you are able to. Unleash the phoenix within you. Your potential already lies inside, so call out to it. Summon the powers of your rebirth. More than what we do or don't do, more than what we say or don't say. Who we are as people is determined by the thoughts, beliefs, stories, visualizations, narratives and intentions inside our head. There is a magnificence of contributing love and kindness into the universe and all of its people. No one is ever as rich as when they embody love. There's no greater goal than to inspire others to be their best self while trying to be our very own, and humbling ourselves to keep in mind that how we define someone's best or the concept of it is not necessarily what is best for them or what it is. Add to the quality of the world, because what you give and take from it will add and subtract even from your own. They call this universal give and take karma, and it circles around us, constantly redistributing the energy that we put out and take in. Karma is reminiscent of the human lungs. As the lungs breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, karma takes the energy we expel and finds a place in the universe for it, replacing the energy that is there already with the energy that you sent out, and then exchanging that energy it took for energy someone else has expelled. In this process, eventually enough exchange creates momentum that reverberates like a pinball machine off one ring of energy and the next. And with time, the original energy that we sent out to someone, or because of someone, will eventually hit them back, but in a much bigger way, because of the ripple effects and how massively they grew as everything was finding energetic balance through moving and shifting that energy around. So always try your best to be mindful of what you put out and what you take. Make smart choices that create a better world for all of us. An individual, if even free, who forgets or chooses not to care that they share this world with others is a chaotic force. An individual who reminds themselves that the world is a shared humanity has much to offer and much to enjoy. So that's the chapter so far. I did want to kind of address some things as I was reading this. The honesty part, when I was saying, don't listen to the you got to fake it till you make it, you have to be real. Now, I'm still learning in my recovery, aligning myself with my authentic self, being as honest and revealing as I can. But coming from narcissistic abuse, one of the things that I did learn is that having some protection for yourself is very, very necessary. And that even though I want to be honest and I want to be authentic, as in being honest about myself and what I've gone through, I also understand that there are malevolent types out there. There are people who are in their current version that might be very miserable, very angry, aggressive, has a lot that they want to take out on somebody. I also understand that there are people such as narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, people who potentially could be very dangerous, if not physically, also emotionally, to have around. And that's not to say for everybody, but there are types of people to be on the lookout. And coming from narcissistic abuse, I understand the importance of keeping some things to yourself isn't always an act of being intentionally dishonest. It's not always an act of being or choosing to be unethical by not being honest, by withholding certain information. It can also be an act of protection. And philosophically, I believe, at least currently philosophically, I definitely believe in things being circumstantial. So as much as I understand being honest and forthright, I also see how people can weaponize that. So part of what I mean when I say be honest, be authentic, is having the ability to make peace or face all the things you don't like about yourself, all the things you do, all the things you've gone through in your past, your mistakes that make you think you're a terrible person, choices that you made that actually reflect how good of a person you are, what you're trying to be, like your best self, like learning to be in connection with those things in such a way that even if someone tried to weaponize something against you, you could be so grounded in yourself that you're like, yeah, I did do that, and I feel great deep shame about that. But where I'm where I'm at with that is my own business. Anybody that's weaponizing something against me is most likely somebody who did not experience something or is missing information equally, because we only ever really truly know our side, right? So I think that's really important just to keep in mind, like if you've come from abuse or you haven't, but the possibility exists that at any moment that could happen. So hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, or you've already been through that, then you understand the importance of like people earning your trust, earning your revelation of who you are. So there's a difference between that versus someone who is withholding because they are scared and they do not want someone to know them, or they are hiding a secret or something that's painful. That's a little different, because that's not really being authentic. That is having more of an agenda, or something that is not authentic, not honest. The other thing is your worth. So I wanted to make it clear. I might have said this in another video. The way that I've been reflecting on, coming through my recovery journey, like I have to get in touch with my worth, because I've gone so long not treating myself as if I had any worth. So how I've understood worth, and maybe by sharing this can help you too, is our innate worth is literally because there is nobody in this world that is you. And I'm not saying that to be like, we're so special, we're all different. Like, no, I'm saying that like as factual as I guess possible. If we were to collect every person in this world and just line them up together, it would be clear as day. There is no other you. You might come across people that might somewhat look like you. You might come across people who might have certain personality styles just like you, maybe even someone that sounds like you. May come across things like that. But who that person is as a whole, their essence, their energy, how they talk, what they're into, all of that is going to be nuanced. So no matter how many similarities you have with someone or differences you have, it doesn't matter. You still will always be different from them, in the sense that you both are separate individual essences, So if you're having trouble thinking about your worth and like, oh, I'm not worthy or anything like that, just try to remember that, like at its root, yes, you do have worth. Even if you don't believe it, here's more of a factual, logical way of looking at it. Like, there is no one that is you. You can't be mimicked. Even if they clone, like, that it will still be a different version of you. It won't be you that you are right now watching this. So I wanted to answer that. Let's see. Okay, so the line, like our own God, we create and destroy ourselves through all the things that we do, say, or think, and in reaction to all the things that others say and do and think. Now, when I say that, that does not mean at all to imply we are God. No. I have my own religious beliefs. I know that each of you watching this do too, so I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to convince you of something. Like, I do not care about that. You think and believe what you will, because this is your life to lead. It's not mine, so I'm thinking and believing what I want. But in my own context, just to explain, like, I do believe in God. I'm not going to go into my entire philosophy around it, because that's a different video. But what I will say in terms of connecting it to this is that I do not believe. So what I'm writing here about, like our own God, we create and destroy, that's not to say that we are God at all. No, it's to say that God has granted us this freedom to choose to utilize God's power. And that power is creation, to be able to create, to bring things from non-existence into existence. We do not have that. We do not have that. You know, I can't sit here and think of a burger and then make it appear into my hands. I wish that would be that would be really awesome. But then I would be eating a lot of burgers and steaks and, you know, just complete indulgence, most likely, right? Because we're humans. But what I mean is that we get in our own way the ability to play around with a little bit of the taste of that. You know, so me making this video right now and communicating my thoughts, that's utilizing the little bit of power and magic that God has granted us to use. Making this book, I created something, you know what I mean? And with the help of other people who create something, I was able to actually get like a book version of my words, which is so cool. And just having this is kind of like enough. I'm like, I don't need to publish this book, but you know, if you really are interested, then I will. It's just a lot of money, so feel free to donate because that would really help. I think it's like $3,000 for a book publishing full package or something like that with like Book Baby. Anyway, so moving on. I just wanted to explain that, like, this is not an excuse to be narcissistic or be arrogant or think you are superior to anybody. No, the point, especially of this chapter, is to say that we, because of the nuance of who you are, that makes you innately worthy. To me, that sends the sign that we are meant to get in touch with that exact essence, what makes us in truly individual. We are meant to get in touch with that, to understand it, learn it, be in authentic alignment with it. So that way we can understand where we can give of ourself, the essence that we are, to this world, this, whatever this is, you know? What I'm learning, getting in touch with my authentic self, is it is through art. That is the gift that God gave me, and I've been pushing it off in so many ways because I'm like, how can I have a job? How can I make money when it's so hard to also have time and energy to make the art and put it out there and then hope you can also make money from it, and you know what I mean? So I've been holding off on that, but now I realize through my recovery specifically, I'm getting so in touch with my authentic self, and I realize this is what I was meant to do. This is what understanding who I am and bringing that part to the world, that's what it is. Doing my art, doing my music, communicating through that. So each of you has to do that work too, so you can understand what is it about me that is something I can contribute, that really helps people and feeds my soul, because it really is in alignment with who I am, what I like, what makes me happy, what, you know what I mean? Like, that's really what the work you have to do, and that's tremendous work. It means looking at your life, healing your abuses or traumas if there are any. It means healing any issues, your strengths, your flaws, getting in touch with everything about you that's really painful, because it very much is reality collapsing. Everything you thought was you in your life, you might discover wasn't at all. And that is a really hard existential crisis to have to work through. Trust me, I've been through many, many, many existential crises, very, very, very complex and deep ones, and somehow I've managed to survive every single one and pull myself back out. I don't know how. Some of them were very insane, but my survival skill is so intense that my mind refuses to allow myself to be conquered. And So when that switch goes off in me, I become not me anymore. It's like more the phoenix that comes out, that I identify myself with. That spirit comes out, and it's like, nope, nope, we're getting through this somehow, some way. So anyway, yes, I wanted to share that. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so basically I think that's all I was trying to explain, is that we seem to have a duty to work on ourselves and through ourselves, and so that way we can contribute ourselves to this world. People need us. And maybe that doesn't mean everybody, but maybe each of us is meant to help heal or move people in the direction of healing and awakening by and through being themselves, and in the ways that they're contributing. Maybe by me being an artist and being in alignment with that and putting out music and following that, maybe there's a specific amount of people that I was destined to reach through being myself. And maybe that helps those people move towards their healing or start them on a journey. And that doesn't always mean that it's something like wonderful, like they're moved by my music and they're a fan now. It can also be like somebody who is like maybe challenged by my music, or angry or upset. It can be any kind of effect that may, in the long run, possibly have a positive effect on someone, because it might lead someone down a road where they're ping-ponging, off of all these other things and places and people, because of however my art affected them. You know what I mean? And that might lead them down a path of learning something new about themselves, learning a flaw in themselves that they now get the chance to correct should they choose, or vice versa. So you never really know what effect you're going to have on someone's development towards awakening consciousness and becoming fully aligned with their power of self. You never know. And sometimes people may not ever get there. That's also a possibility. And I don't really know what happens with those people when they get to this place where they pass on. I have no idea. All I can do is just theorize, just like all of you, about what happens after death. But I do feel very strongly, which take with a grain of salt, because that's just a feeling, right? I do have a strong feeling, as well as I do my best to try and logically figure this out for myself, but again, it's just theories. That's kind of what it feels like so far, is we have to be ourselves, because then if we're doing that, it's going to be hard not to be somewhat happy or fulfilled if you're being you. And I can't imagine that the world would be still filled with a need to be aggressive and nasty and violent with each other, because if each of us are helping each other, and each of us are destined to help certain people, so then the pressure to try and save everybody is off our shoulders. But if we're all trying to live our best, then who knows what really is possible. But the other thing to keep in mind is everybody's coming from a different experience, and that has to be validated, because there's nuance. So the solution that may work or seem to be needed might not really apply to everybody, or certain people in certain situations. They might need a great deal of influence in terms of the being influenced by the authentic expressions of other people. They might need a lot more of that to help them get in touch with their own, especially if they're coming from a place of more poverty or challenge. Anything like that can absolutely stifle the mind, the idea of narrative, it can shape all of that. So we have to be mindful of that too, because if you want to help people, sometimes the solutions will have to adjust themselves, because not every solution is going to work on everybody. So anyway, this was long-winded, but there was a chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. If you listen to my thoughts, that's awesome. I hope you take something wonderful and positive or empowering from this, and I'll talk to you next time.